Hello and welcome to the program Table Talk on Benue Television. We are very sure that you are there waiting patiently to connect with us on this program. Today's edition of the program, I can assure you, is going to be very interesting. And so sit back and relax as we are going to take a look at the issue of a national convention. In the past, has always looked into the issue of a new constitution for the Nigerian nation. Just on Friday, Chief Emeka Anyaoku, who is the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, alongside some other seasoned patriots, visited Mr. President requesting for the convention of another national constitutional conference where Nigerians will come together and chart the way forward. He had gone ahead to recommend that some of the recommendations of the 2014 National Confab, as organized by the then President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, be considered as well. He also made reference to the 1960-1963 Constitution of Nigeria. All of these and other recommendations, according to Anyaoku, he wants a situation whereby Nigeria will be represented by a few legislators across the 36 states and one in the FCT. This means each of the legislators will have a lawyer attached to them for some, interpretations so far as the Constitution is concerned. And these and more will form the basis for our program here on Benue Television. And I like to say that once again we have in house former chairman of the local government, one who is passionate about good democracy in Nigeria. He's here ready to offer insights on what this means to the Nigerian future. I'd like to welcome you once again, Honorable Agbo, for being a part of the program. I'd like to say thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. And so now, you know that the issue of a constitution amendment is part of restructuring, which Nigerians have created for in the last very many years. I just made reference to the 2014 National Confab, which was conducted by former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and now some patriots at a very high level are requesting Mr. President to send an executive bill to the National Assembly to see this as a matter of urgency and address the issue of a new constitution which Nigerians are asking for. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the issue of the National Convention, which may be holding if Mr. President approves of the recommendations?
Well, thank you very much for that question.
You're welcome.
I think I'll start by saying that this is a very serious area. It's the area that have been confronting Nigeria since independence. Nigeria have been having problem of how to govern themselves, even during the colonial administration.
Yeah.
The fundamental issue of Nigeria is that Nigeria was made up of different countries.
Okay, before now.
Before now.
Why do you say so?
Yes. Nigeria was made up of different countries because before the colonial era, the Southeast, let me use that general term, the Southeast were a group of republican nations, individuals, people who govern themselves democratically using their method. The Western region were very good, had a very good organized system and existing on their own. Development moving on. The same way did not. Each of these regions, because to use that word, because region even came up later. They were existing on their own jeje until the British came and colonized Nigeria. And for the purpose of governance, they found it difficult to govern the enlarged country. Even when they came, they were existing even they called them protectorates. Each section of this country, they were called, like you have the northern protectorates, the southern protectorate, and all these names. That was what it was not called Nigeria. It was just in 1892 or so or thereabout that issue of a name came up. There was nothing like Nigeria. So when they came, you see, the problem of governing the entire, putting the entire, all the protectorates together became a problem for even the British. So the only way to go about it was to say, okay, we don't have manpower to govern these people. So what we'll do is that let us do what they call indirect rule. We'll be governing them through themselves. So that was how they started, each areas of this country started governing themselves, using the colonial administration as the center to monitor what is happening in various sectors of the individual states that later became Nigeria. So when they came, and at independence, or even before the independence, they started the issue of governing these people came up. And instead of, how do I say this? Instead of granting independence to each region, even if it is the northern area, call them in different countries, west, give them their own nation, east, give them their own nation, they lump everybody together. And when you lump people or organizations together, in accounting, there's something we call group accounting. Group accounting, anything group means you brought so many other entities together. It's always a headache.
So in essence, you're suggesting that Nigeria should be unbundled.
Nigeria should have been unbundled before the independence as a different nations.
Are you insinuating that this could be part of the reasons why we have several issues we are not able to
That is
fix?
Exactly that is the crux. That is the center of Nigerian problem up to tomorrow. Until it is solved, Nigeria cannot be the same. And for us to move forward, that is why I even wrote a book on issue of restructuring Nigeria for productivity. Nigeria cannot move forward until if we cannot go our different way, because there's advantage of even coming together, like the United. Everybody knows about United States. United States were different countries, but they came together and called themselves United. So the fact that you are united does not mean that the others should forgo themselves. That is the major problem of this country. If Nigeria to move forward, there have to be the coming together of these people that were lumped by force to decide how they should be governed. And that is the center of the patriot. Even before now, even including the president, all of them have been agitating that Nigeria should come together to decide the basis of their coming to being one nation.
Well, now, from what you have said, I'm beginning to see that most of the times we complain about diversity, in terms of ethnicity, in terms of ideas, we are finding it difficult. In recent times, the 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 easts and some part of the southeastern states are saying we want to go our separate ways. We have had issues, the sit-at-home issues imposed on the people, and a lot is also happening there. So from what you are saying, could it be right that all this while, those who are asking, agitating for separation, the secessionist groups, do you think they have been right all this while, calling for a separation where they can have their own liberty and independence to go their separate ways?
Thank you very much. In fact, that one is even of a recent issue. What they are agitating, they will sit at home, something is just a modern something. The Igbo have started or wanted to go their own way since 1966. That was the basis of Nigerian civil war now. Since 1966, under Udumegu Ujugu, they have already been gone. They went. It was by the military force of the rest of this country, the North with the West and the Midwest coming together, that overpowered the East. They would have gone. They would have long forgotten as a different country. It was by force. And when you force people to be part of you, unless people come, unless you bring them and say, how do we exist together? If not, they will continue to nurse the fact that they have been agitating to be alone. Unless you bring them to a table to decide how they can be part of you. Assure them that even presidency, it will be turn by turn. Without this, issue of agitation for separation cannot stop in Nigeria.
It's all right. Well, now, let's also consider, let's go to the merits and demerits of the request made by Chief Emeka Anyaoku, the Commonwealth Secretary General. For all this while, he has been there. Why now? When it was President Obasanjo and Secretary General was also there as one strong activist. When it was a time of Goodluck Jonathan, the time of Yaradua, this same Chief Emeka was also still there. Now, why is the request coming now?
Thank you very much. The Patriot. The Patriot is not a matter of issue of Emeka Anyaoku.
But at the moment, he is the one who has led the group.
The fact that is the leader, is the chairman of the fund, does not mean that everything is on its own. He was directed to say what he said. I want to start by saying the Patriot is one of the foremost and most important group ever emerged in Nigeria. Founded by the number one lawyer in terms of professionalism, Rotimi Williams. Made up of various first-class, seasoned professionals of this world. In fact, you can't name lawyers, business people that one would say they are not in this in that group of patriots. Like I told you, the first person was Rotimi Williams, and let me tell you, Rotimi Williams just died in 2016 or thereabout. This man, this lawyer from the East, another eminent jurist, I would say another number one legal luminary in this country. The later that one died a few years back. They were when they started right from the beginning. They have insisted on restructuring Nigeria. That was even when Tinubu was part of them. Issue of calling for a new constitution is not a question of, the patriot have been part of it from the beginning, and they will continue to be part of it.
Yes.
Because their voice matters a lot. They are in terms of wisdom, in terms of knowledge, in terms of experience. No group can equate that. I can say that for now. So when they come, they are simply, these are the people. Emeka Anyoku is 91 now, and yet moving like as if he's 40 years old. Huh? If you call Mike Ezekeme,
yes,
God, those are names that when you hear their names, Shehu Sani, that the senator
from Kaduna State.
Yes, these are the people that if
but the question I have, I've been trying to. The question I really want you to answer straight is that the names you have mentioned here were there even before Nigeria got independence.
Yes.
What have they been doing that the country is growing from good, from the state it was to a state where people are saying we are not getting it right? So where were they?
Yes, if you have these names that form the patriot, including Gani. These are the names of people. These names are people in this country that will say you can't mention Nigeria without them. They have been consistent.
One of them?
Yes. They have been consistent in advising on how this country can move forward. Some of them, if they see that government is oppressing you, they will rise from Lagos. I still remember there was the case of a gun walk in Plateau State those days with somebody that Gani had to volunteer. That I was in school. Had to volunteer, came to defend, to stand up for that person. They have, unfortunately, some of them have been crying and agitating on how to improve Nigeria until their death. But I used to think about that. This person have been crying on good governance, have been protesting. You know some of them. They have been protesting on good governance. So it's not a question of today. They have been calling on good governance since
now very well. I like the way you have been able to place it now. I have cited instances where Nigeria came together in a conference to do the something, the constitutional, even the 2014 national confab was hinged on a new constitution.
Yes.
The document for that national conference, do you know the document is still in Aso Rock?
Yes.
Now, why did the government that time abandon that document? And then, do we still even need recommendation coming from these people? Because we have a national confab document that is still lying there, and most of these recommendations that were made by Chief Emeka Anyaoku are already captured in that. Now, what makes you think President Tinubu will be willing to make use of the recommendations?
Thank you very much. Let me tell you now. Even the patriot, when they met with Mr. President, they called for the 1963 Constitution. They called for 2005 conference by Obasanjo. They called for 2014 confab by President Jonathan. And even the one 2022 by, that one was not on a wider scale, by even President Mohamed Buhari. They call for all of them. The reason for calling for all of them, they advised Mr. President, in line with your question, they advised the president to bring all those constitutions from 1960 to 2014 confab.
It's right now.
So it is there for them. The reason is these constitutions, both the contemporary and the old, the essence of the new set of people is to now look at it. How were the first set of constitutions working well for this country?
Now, what is this that is very special? It means you are abreast of the past constitutions of this country. Chief Anyaoku made reference to the 1960-1963 constitution. What makes these constitutions different from? Could it be the parliamentary status? What actually makes them different from?
Good. The President Constitution. The President 1999 Constitution is an imposed constitution. Imposed by the military. If the opening paragraph of 1999 Constitution say, "We Nigerians," that was not correct. It was the military that brought the people to make proposal, and even after the proposal, there are so many things they cited in the constitution without the people.
Brought which people? Because you are mentioning names here.
Yes.
Abdul Salami Abubakar was part of them.
Yes.
The people,
those are
good, and the people who were part of the constitution are still. Some of them are still alive.
Yes.
Now, why are you not making reference to them?
Oh, I'm making. You are talking of.
I think you said they brought some people. Yes.
Yes. The
problem. So who are the people who were hired for the constitution? Because we know that Abdul Salami Abubakar was at the helm of.
Well, he was the one that took over from Sani Abacha.
Yes.
And there was already 1979 constitution. There was another conference called by Abacha. I can still recollect and remember that Abacha constitution was the one used by Salami with some amendments. I can still remember, there are some of my writings that I put there, that even under Abacha constitution, he provided for rotation of political positions, even to local governments, which was removed by Absalami. So that's why I'm saying that's why I'm telling you now that 1999 constitution was not made by, even when I say it was not made by Nigeria, it doesn't mean that it was a ghost or Holy Spirit that brought the constitution. Yes. It must have been compiled by set of people. But you are saying that set of people does not represent the various nationalities of this country. So until the major ingredient of a constitution is legitimacy.
Now,
the previous constitution had no legitimacy of the people.
Now, let's talk about the proactiveness of our citizens. You have said you are not the first person to say that we have a constitution that was given to us by imposition.
Yes.
That the military did everything and imposed that on us. Several other persons have said this was since 1999.
Yes.
1999 to date, you know how many years we have spent with our constitution. And each time in the media space we are given opportunity, we complain that the constitution is not giving us results. Why is it so difficult for Nigerians to change this constitution from that time to date?
Very good. That is the center, the cross, the everything of this country. We have not been able to have a leader. We have not been able to have a president that critically look at the situation of this country and how to solve it. The presidents we had in the past, take example of OBJ, President Obasanjo. He wanted to change the constitution, but the condition is that you allow him to do the third term. And since that did not work, he was not interested. So I'm telling you now the basis of why our constitution has not been working all this while. We don't have strong leaders that will have the will to really change the situation. President Mohammed Buhari, when he's a northerner, most northerners I continue to say, most northerners are afraid that if they say, because drastic constitutional provision will make for what we call political federalism. Political federalism, you know, it is where, in fact, what you produce, have it.
It's all right. Now, let's also consider this now. And the Patriots are also requesting that the National Assembly should be of directly elected individuals across the 36 states.
Yes.
On non-political basis. Yes. How would you interpret this?
Yes.
What's your understanding of that?
Yes, the understanding is that this is not the first time. This is not most of these people. I still remember that is it 2014? What they used to do is that there are some people that are elected.
Yes.
There are some people that are nominated to form the conference. So this is not the first time. The fact that they have said take 3 persons from each state, that will be less than 100 and something. Definitely, it will. It will not be that alone. Even though I continue to say that I don't believe in say that people must be up to 500 or 1,000 before they come out with a serious document. I say that even if you bring 20 persons, give them all the constitution from 1960 to date, they can produce wonders. So where the present one is talking about 3 persons, the basis for that one is that yes, this one is not APC. Don't allow governor or president to decide who should form.
So from what platforms should we decide that these people should? Because what we usually have is that we have political platforms where people emerge to represent us. Now, if this does it mean this is going to take off the political structures that we have in terms of political parties? We will no longer be having things like the All Progressives Congress or the PDP, the Labour Party and all of that, because if it is not on party basis, political party basis, how are they going to get this from which platforms? Is it the traditional rulers that would determine who should represent from this region or the local government chairman?
Very good. What used to happen to take place is that they simply say, like Benue State, give us, because there are 2 compositions. They talk of equal representation of 3 persons per state. Automatically, that means you in Benue State, you take 1 from Zone A, you take 1 person from Zone B, take the 3rd person from Zone C. Then the second composition is that we want each nationalities, because I told you that people are not happy the way they are governed. They want now to be specific. Bring the thief man there.
Okay.
Bring the Idoma man there. That is in respect of the 1-1. Bring the Shekiri. Bring the Bibios. Let them come and bring the Bachamas.
So who determines this is the question.
Who determine it is even the good aspect. This one shouldn't be determined by Mr. Governor.
Good.
If you say Idoma, go and bring one person, Doma will meet in Otukpo.
But there is a likely tendency that politicians will hijack the process and influence it because a structure has been there.
That's why.
Okay, for instance, let's make this practical now. It's just an example we are giving. We're not indicting any political actor here.
Yeah.
In Zone C, the moment you mention Zone C, the first name that comes to your mind is Senator David Alechenu Bonaventure Mark.
Yes.
When you talk about Zone B, let's talk about Zone B. The first name that will come to your mind is the noun SGF, Senator George Akumen. When you go down up to to Zone A, once you mention Zone A, the first name that comes to mind is former governor of the state, Gabriel Suswam. Now, are you now trying to tell us that if Zone A is to produce someone who is going to represent the state at the parliament, are you trying to convince us that former Governor Gabriel Suswam or Senator George Akume or Senator David Mark will not have influence?
No, that is where it becomes clearer and better, because I can assure you now that if there's a call by, say, Zone C, go and produce one person. It's not one person going to sit to write the name. I can assure you that. No person, people are no longer. In fact, even before it had not been like that. The fact that you are a big name does not mean that you are going to write the name from your bedroom. There must be a forum. People will meet in Ochidoma Palace.
But I asked before, is it the traditional rulers or the clergy?
No, good. That's what I'm saying now. When I say people will meet in the Ochidoma Palace, that means people from APC, people from PDP will meet in Ochidoma Palace, and I can show you no individual will have the day. When you are met with these people, then who are you to come and say you think you want to dominate these people? They will allow you.
It's all right. Well, I think we need to go on a break at this point. It's the Table Talk on Benue Television, a place where we shake the table, but I can always assure you that we'll never break the table. It's been an engagement with Honorable Agbo and Abo, former chairman of the local government, a seasoned Democrat and a management consultant, who is speaking to us about the recent developments in Nigeria, where the president is requested to pass an executive bill, to send an executive bill to the National Assembly calling for a national convention that will review the constitution that we have and giving us a new constitution as a people in Nigeria's nation. So let's go on a break. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back to the program. This is Table Talk on Benue Television, and we're looking at the cause by patriots and other concerned Nigerians for a new constitution that will galvanize for a change and, of course, make the economy of Nigeria a more robust one. Now, I'm going to take on Chief Emeka Anyaoku's statements recently before he met with Mr. President alongside other patriots. He posited this particularly. He said the Nigeria's old constitution, the constitution we have at the moment, does not have the capacity to solve the many economic problems that we have in the country. That is number one. And it also says that for us to move forward as a country, we have to adopt a new constitution. We need to leave and abandon the old document and chart a new way forward. This is the position of this man. He's not pretending about the matter.
Yeah.
And then he has several supporters, people who are very, very ardent and keen to see that Nigeria moves towards the way of a new constitution. Now, the question I want to ask you now is, how do you think the new constitution will collapse the existing cabals and the political structures that have existed before? Because they seem to amass so much wealth and power such that it's difficult for anyone to pull them out of the system. What mechanism would you advise be put in place to check the excesses by our politicians through the various political platforms that we have in existence?
Well, thank you very much. I think taking the cue from what happened in 2014, where we had a conference of 492 prominent Nigerians in Jonathan Constitutional Conference, headed by Justice Kutugi, the late Justice Kutugi. It shows that where people, eminent people, are gathered, all the big pockets, all the political giants are dissolved. For you to speak where people who have seen it all, for you to speak where they are. In fact, if you want to say you are a political juggernaut in the north, you even hide, because this is a level of all the best of this country coming together. So you don't go there there's no room for you to say you want to use money. There's no room for you to say you want to use your political bigwigs to affect decisions. Decisions are taken at committees. You have different committees in charge of virtually all sectors. And the decisions there are subject to the entire house. So individual influence, cabals, they hide. That is the truth. The problem we have been having, like I said, is that we have not been able to bring people or presidents that will implement hard decisions taken by these people. We have not been having them. For instance, President Muhammad Buhari, more or less, he even declined being a member of 2014 conference. When they say political party should even send a representative to that conference, he did not.
Why?
Because he said he did not believe in it. So it is on that. So that is the reason why when he came up as president, he had nothing to do with that conference. Because he even said it from the beginning. He's from the north, and I've told you that the north is afraid of allowing things to be the way it's supposed to be. Because they are afraid of the oil, not knowing that they can exist on their own with agriculture. Especially now that they are even discovering oil in various parts of the north.
So in essence, you're having this feeling that what is making the north to hold on to the south and the west is because of the avalanche of oil
Yes.
underneath.
Yes.
And so you're also saying here, and you want to be quoted, that without the oil, the north would have allowed the south and the east to go their own ways long time ago. Is that what you're saying?
Let me tell you, when Nigeria was depending mainly on cotton and other agricultural produce,
Cocoa,
cocoa,
sugar cane, yeah.
rubber, palm oil. That was the time I continue to say that Nigeria was at its best. Individuals were on their own. Individuals were producing at their best level, and each region was at a competitive edge with the others.
So you are now trying to say that the regional system of governance
Yes.
was better than what we have at the moment.
Of course, that is far better, and that is
So
where
why did we leave it?
Well,
Who were the proponents of dissolution of the regions?
well,
Could it be as a result of the amalgamation?
No, the regions were in place up to 1966 coup.
The one that took place after the protest in 1965.
Yes.
Yes.
It was in place up to Major Nzogu coup. Even up to like I made a statement that Major General Jetty, you arguing Ronsi, when he took over after Nzogu coup, he now converged all powers to Lagos under the national or under the head of state, instead of allowing these people to continue with their powers. That was the first action taken to dissolve the powers, to dissolve or to weaken the regional developmental stride.
So you feel the action was in error?
It was in error. It was in error. However, and unfortunately, Ironsi was killed because he was accused of practicing unitary government. And unfortunately, as he was killed, since that time, we have not stopped unitary government, where all decisions are taken at the center. And that is part of the reason why we are saying, until you allow each region, until you allow each state to develop at its own pace. Chief Awolowo even said it, that other regions are delaying, restricting their movement to grow. Until you allow each area to move, to develop at its own pace, Nigeria will continue to be underdeveloped. And the only way to solve this country is that people should come together to discuss the basis of their existence. A state, let me make a definition. A state is a group of legitimate entity, political entity, that have agreed to be governed independently, but with a central government. That is why even in America you can have a Supreme Court of a state, and that's what we expect. That's what we expect in Nigeria. But unfortunately, we don't have people that think or that can take such a drastic situation by saying, my friend, go with your states, or whether you want to call it a regions, because I have proposed that we should have 10 regions. The president's 36 states should be collapsed into 10 regions. each region or each state, whichever you name, you want to call them, they should exist on their own and contribute certain percentage of their economic resources to the central government for the purpose of managing central bodies like the army, with the military in general, and other customs and so forth. That is the meaning of a state. State should be on its own, exist on its own, not another person controlling what is happening in that place. 100%.
Very well then. So now, what we're looking for is, all of us are interested in seeing a new Nigeria.
Yes.
If we talk about a new constitution, we're talking about new Nigeria.
Yes.
Because we cannot have a new constitution without having a new Nigeria.
No.
Now, I would want you to talk extensively about the impact you feel the new constitution is going to create on the nation, apart from what you have mentioned here. What other reasons have made you to stand with the proposed new constitution as against the old one? What benefits do you think Nigeria will get from this beyond what we have already said?
Yes. One is that cost of governance will reduce drastically. Presently, under the executive presidency, 75% 75 to 80% of our national budget is concentrated on recurrent expenditure. How to take care of the bloated political appointees under the presidency. So a new constitution will remove that. It will remove.
So you're saying a new constitution will save costs?
New constitution will remove the executive presidential system of this country and replace it with the parliamentary system. I can assure you that.
Now, do you think Mr. President will support this? Don't you think Mr. President is enjoying the powers
Yes.
that he has as the president?
Where he's going to support. That is why I say we are not been having people that are sincere who want this country to develop because of selfish reasons.
So what makes you think that the president now would accept this to come to play? Because, you know, indirectly or directly, accepting parliamentary system means the president becomes just a ceremonial head.
Yes. Why he's going to accept it is that first, like the patriot under Anyoku said, Nigeria, the decision of that conference, the present National Assembly will make a constitutional amendment to provide for plebiscite, or how do I call it? That is for Nigerians to endorse the decision of the conference. That is, presently we don't have we don't have it in the constitution now. That the people coming together can decide and approve and give legitimacy, because that is the ultimate word. The present constitution does not have the legitimacy of the people. So where these people come out with a news like we are talking about, in fact, taking it radically to even the National Assembly, we are saying that it should be only a unicameral system. And why they are going to approve of
unicameral here, it entails that we wouldn't have the need for green and red chambers.
Yes.
They'll be fused together.
Yes.
Fine.
Why they are going to accept it is that, well, the conference will accept it. They will give time, possibly like what they are even trying to do now, and I say it's too long. They say it will take effect. It's not that the present people should go. Eh?
Now,
The new constitution is not going to say the
no, I
president
understand. I understand. They understand that it's a gradual phase out.
Good.
Now,
so that you will not say
good.
Tinubu would be allowed to possibly even finish his even if he wants to do
good. But let us consider this. Having said all that you have said here, there is what we call 2/3 majority of the House.
Yes.
When it comes to issues like this, the green and the red chambers come in for a joint session. When it comes to national decisions like this, for them to come up with anything, there is going to be a joint session.
Yes.
Now, the question again is, do you think the same people who have enjoyed the buzz overheads, allowances? In fact, former President Olusegun Obasanjo said that they even have toilet allowances. That's on the light mode anyway. So now let's look at it. Do you think these same people will pass a bill? Don't you think they will kick against that bill that Mr. President is going to sign, because they have some powers to override it?
That is very interesting. That is where the Constitutional Conference is different. The Constitutional Conference is far. It overrides whatever the National Assembly people will do.
But whatever they are going to decide will be sent to the National Assembly for.
No. That is, it was even made clear, and even before now, I knew National Assembly has nothing to do about the decision of the National Conference. The procedure is that each representative, that's why they say all ethnic nationalities in this country will be part of it, apart from 3 persons from each state. The decision of the people of that conference will be subjected to the approval by voting by everybody. It becomes final, where once there will be a general voting that will be part of it, where once we have voted that this decision going from presidency to parliamentary, going back to region, going back to this, each state should have even up to Supreme Court, but produce what you want, exit what you want, the way it was going on, where once we say we agree with that their conference, it becomes the only person that is subject to sign it is Mr. President.
Can you remember when the state assemblies rejected autonomy as against themselves?
That's why they are bypassing them. That's why National Autonomous Conference will bypass even the National Assembly.
All right. Now, before we think about leaving, exiting the set, there are other salient questions that we need to, in the entire Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the 1999 Constitution as amended, there is no room for referendum.
Very good. That's why it's coming.
And now all other countries in the African region have in place what is called referendum, where the decision of the masses overrides whatever is happening both in the executive and at the legislative chambers.
Yes.
But in Nigeria, room was not created for referendum purposely, so that it strips off the power of the masses. As we speak, there is no referendum in the Constitution of Nigeria. Now, this the one you're talking about now, the National Constitutional Conference, is going to give room for referendum.
Yes.
Do you think the actors and players they are going to be part of this conference?
Yes.
The conference is not going to be a place for foreign nationals to come. It's still the same Nigerians that are going to be part of the constitution. Do you think they will be willing to vote against themselves? Because even at the conference, there are votings that will take place.
Yes. I've told you now that that's why it's called Autonomous National Conference, that is devoid of political influence, even in the nomination, which I explained. Where these people meet, there's nothing like, say, president of a senate. there will be nothing like a Speaker of the National Assembly. It could even be somebody like you now to represent the thief people. It could be for people like me now to represent the Idomas. If we go there, it is what we decided. Where once we have decided, it is autonomous. It's not subject to the decision of the state assemblies. It's not subject to the decision of National Assembly. It is the decision of all of us. There will be another referendum to confirm the new decisions taken by these independent people, not National Assembly, not state assemblies.
Yeah, well, I would have loved to continue with this engagement, but I am afraid time is knocking. Otherwise, the other question I would have loved to ask would have been, even the new constitution may still give room for marginalization. Consistently, you have mentioned the thieves and the Idomas here, without mentioning your immediate brothers, the Igedes. Consistently, you have never allowed the Igedes to represent you, even at the Senate.
Yes, that is
the only, even at the traditional stool, it was one time you allowed your younger brother, which is the Igede kingdom, to become the Ochidoman. And once that happened, it has never happened. Same thing with the thief people, where we have held on to the governorship, not allowing you to have a taste of it since the inception of democracy. So do you think this will also address all of these concerns?
That is why the number is part of even my own book here. I put it there that part of the decision that would be taken and must be taken is that even ministerial positions will be rotated among the ethnicity of a state.
It's all right. Well, thank you so much, former chairman at the local government, and of course management consultant, a writer, and of course a social and political commentator, talking about Honorable Agbo, who has been here talking to Nigerians on the new constitution proposed by the leader of the Patriots, Chief Anyaoku Emeka, as he spoke to Mr. President on Friday, suggesting that Nigeria needs a new constitution to be able to address the myriad of economic problems that we have in the country. This is how far time has permitted us to go. I want to say thank you so much indeed for being here this morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
And so we have to say thank you for your viewership. Remember, this program is going to make a return on Wednesday. It's going to be another engaging edition of the program. My name is Japhet Kwahom. Goodbye for now.